Lenny Reed, Dynamite Diesel Products. So I'm hanging out with Adrian for a few minutes. We're on the AFM. Adrian, you're building some 94 to 98 stage 1s right now?
That's correct, yes, we are.
And then you're AFMing those after he EDMs them.
Correct.
And he's using a 10 thou 5/10 wire.
Yes.
So 10.5 thousandths wire. And those, I just measured one on the flow meter. So prior to any AFM or extrude hone work, the one that I measured a minute ago was like 46 liters a minute.
That should be about where they start, correct.
So I see 46, 46 and a half. So everybody hates my $400 flow meter, but it works really good and super accurate, super repeatable. Okay, so you are taking those from like say 46, 47, and you're flowing them in the micro flow up to how far?
We're going up to 53 with these, which is our stage 1 recipe.
So stage 1's 53 liters a minute.
Yes, it
but
is.
with the AFM versus just the EDM, there's a little bit of deviation in flow rate.
Right.
Plus there's no K factor, so the fluid doesn't like to go through the holes. I'm gonna show everybody what one of those looks like at 46, and then I wanna show them what one looks like after you're done at 53.
That'd be great. It's
So can you,
done.
would you bang one out for me, please?
We'll do.
So guys, basically this media, can I see my? It's basically a hydraulic oil with an abrasive flow agent suspended in it. So it does a really nice job of radiusing the inlet port to the actual, go ahead, thank you.
You bet.
It radiuses the inlet port going into the spray orifice. Here in a second, it's gonna catch a flow. There it knows where it's at, 42, 44. So it's measuring liters per minute right now as we go. And you've got this stuff, it's gonna set where at?
It's going to stop actually at 53.5 because I have a little bit of correction in my flow rates right there. I'm
53.5.
Yep. Yeah, 53
Nice.
is what I want. 53.5 is what the machine is seeing, so I can make it actually
Read 53 on the airflow meter.
Correct. Yep.
Got
That way
it.
they balance off right where we want to be.
Now, that took us about 10, 12 seconds of process time.
Correct.
And that was at 2,000 PSI, is that correct?
Right now with this program, we're running at about 1,885 PSI.
1885 PSI, okay, it's cool. Now you do, based off of what we've learned with common rail in the test stands, you've learned that just maxing out the pressure in the AFM creates all sorts of miserable headaches.
Yes, it does, yes.
We've got holes that are heart-shaped.
Right.
We've got inconsistent, this thing sees it being accurate, but it's not accurate there.
Correct.
And we know that's more accurate than this when this is reading wrong.
Yes.
Because we take them down there and we put them on the CC and we bench them and they don't flow.
Right.
But when they're zeroed out like on these two and there, they go down there and they calibrate just easy as pie.
Exactly.
So when you've just done this one, now that you've made your tweak and you've set that at 53.5 instead of 53.0,
Right.
the rest of these are going to be automated and within less than 1%, right?
Guaranteed, yes. Yes.
So-
I'm seeing less than a tenth of a LPM deviation once I have it set up, so it's incredibly accurate.
Do me a favor, let's finish the process on this one. You go through your normal washing process, kind of show the gang what that is. Now, you have a $200 wash tank basically, and we're shoving mineral spirits into that to get all of the media washed out, right?
Correct.
Now normally you just drop it on there, let it sit for a second, actually a few minutes, while you continue filling that, and it starts to blow out that kind of like a rainbird sprinkler, right?
Yep. Watch
So-
it out real complete and that perfect.
Just for giggles, would you please check that one on the flow meter to see, just to show everybody that it's going to be 53. We were just at like 46 and some change.
So right there, I want to see the bottom of the ball touching on the 43 hash mark right there, which it's sitting right on, which is what I consider an actually perfect 53 LPM.
Now, because you're using a CNC counter in the AFM, all of these, whether they're right or they're wrong, they're all going to turn out the same, right?
That is what the machine is perfect at. It's replicating the parts.
So
this loves to replicate, but we need to verify actually where it's flowing, what it's doing, both with the flow meter and the machine. So that way we do have a product that is exactly what we say.
This is your second season on this tool, right?
Correct, yes.
And the first season was pretty brutal.
It's been a rough, it was a rough beginning there, but we've figured out a lot of little intricacies about the machine and how they correlate with the different machines in here, and we've got a pretty good grasp on it now, and we're actually getting to the point where we're fine tuning and having a little fun with it now.
It's how many parts have you run through this thing now?
I believe I'm up to a little over 35,000 or so at this point.
So 35,000 pieces in the last 2 seasons.
Correct.
The first season we didn't use it that much. We were still using OG #1 hone.
Yes, we were.
Because we were getting our asses kicked on this thing.
Yeah, we had to rely on stuff that we actually knew was going to work, we knew was correct. So until we had the fine tuning and a little bit of dialing in on this, it was a little bit of work.
It was a slow integration. Okay, so this one's done per se now, right?
Correct, yep.
Hold on, give me that, just brake clean.
You bet.
I'm gonna run that to the camera and show everybody kind of what it's like. Okay, so I'm gonna stash this needle valve right here.
Perfect.
Clear at the very top, out of your way. I just want to show everybody what you've just done compared to what EDM only is like. Thank you.
You bet.
All right, guys, so now I'm gonna blow these out real good so we get a good clear picture. One of these parts has been EDM'd only, and one of them was EDM'd plus AFM. Now bear in mind, we're using a 10.5 thou piece of wire, and that piece of wire is accurate within 50 millionths of 1 inch. So in all theory and practical purpose, these holes should be within 50 millionths of 1 inch of each other. So this one, you see that there, Tyler? Very good. All right, so basically, we've got a real rough abrasive edge. That pocket right there is the end of the sack on the inside diameter. So when the needle valve retracts, fluid is going to pass over that seat right there. When needle valve lifts, this needle comes off that seat, fluid then rushes by and starts to spray out these orifices. Now this is like genuine OEM. The EDM that we have is the same brand of EDM that, you know, somebody the size of Caterpillar would use. It's not the fastest, but it is one of the most accurate on the planet. Now, if you're really paying attention, you'll notice that these holes are set and they're all at different elevations inside there. This one's almost at the top, that one's almost at the bottom. The reason for that is because it's elliptical, meaning that this injector, this is for a 12 valve Dodge pickup truck, the injector sits on the exhaust side of the motor and it aims at an offset bowl in the piston at about 20 degrees. So the elliptical pattern is the reason that those are kind of not symmetrical, they're all staggered. That was 46 liters per minute. This is the nozzle that Adrian just got done doing. And you can see, even though the holes they're so polished up, it's hard to focus on one. So basically what he's done is he's going in with the abrasive flow media and he's polishing that radius. He's increasing this from 46 liters per minute up to 53 liters per minute. And they're all going to be CNC accurate within 1%. Now, a lot of people have claimed that there's damage to the seat area after doing any microflow or extrude honing. Now with microflow, that's definitely not a real thing, but with AFM and microflow being the same thing, you're never gonna run into any damage whatsoever. With extrude hone, if it's overdone, you can start to create a wavy pattern inside the seat area, but you've really got to be ignorant and deliberate to try and extrude hone something that large. But this is just a really nice part. Obviously we could go up on this a little bit further, but that is plenty of K factor. It's going to flow really nice, atomize very, very nice. Now just for giggles, going to come to another little tool here. you can see spray hole, spray hole, spray hole. That's that elliptical pattern. Now you'll notice that as many times I just pump that, we're not getting like a lot of like mist or haze. The vapor coming out of there is not real strong yet. We're getting a lot more fluid out there, you can see. And we're building up a lot more of that mist. It's fogging up a lot greater because the atomization is a lot finer. The droplet size is smaller. Atomization's better. So this is going to actually burn better than the one without the AFM. So for example, kind of waft it up. And you see all that like misty calibration oil floating out of there. I'll put this part, which no AFM. We're punching straight into that, which basically would be your piston. You're just directly trying to shove fluid at the piston. And we're not getting a lot of that misty haze. So right there, I mean, there's a little in there, but not much. Yeah. Okay, so 2 pieces. I'll give this one back to Adrian. Here you go, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so needle valve for the one that I stole. That's correct, right?
This one, yes.
Okay, so this one goes back in that bin. Do me a favor and show me how fast you can get done with like 3 or 4 of them. Just, you know, pretend like I'm not even here. Work your normal pace.
I wouldn't be smiling if you weren't here, though. Come on.
You're lying. So what I'm going to show you guys is, although this is a really fast process, it's very, very accurate. Back in the old day, we used to run the extrude hone through the machine 3, 4, 5 times. There was margin for human error there. This is just a lot quicker because of the automation that's within this machine and the fact that the abrasive flow media actually has an agitator inside of a tub down there, and it's kicking all of that media up and it's stirring it into this oil. So you're getting a very, very consistent blend of the actual cutting agent. So if you worked in a body shop ever, if you ever grabbed two grits of sandpaper, one grit being 36 versus 80, 2 totally different jobs. With the stuff that's in here, once we finally settled down and really liked the media that we were getting, this media, hands down, by far and away, is our favorite. But
Yes.
it took us how many batches of different media?
I believe this is our 5th or 6th different batch that we went through, and we changed multiple things in it to make it correct. It's definitely a fine-tuning of this process.
So I can show you the machine, and good luck, because it took us at $2,500 a bucket of media, about a half dozen different revisions to get that media right where we liked it. And it does a really nice job for what we do here now. And I mean, I don't want to brag, but we're probably, I think that we pay attention more to what this process does than probably anybody else really on the planet. I've read a bunch, I've studied a bunch. This process isn't really new, and there's been a lot of studying on it, and there's a lot of articles out that I've read about, and that's helped us out getting this thing dialed in as well as it's dialed in. So what he's doing is he's processing, and then he's putting them on that little wash tank over here. And right now it's running that mineral spirits up through the nozzle to get all of that media and all of that oil out of there. Once they all sit there for a few minutes, they're really nice, they're really clean. You blow them out with some air. We load them up with WD-40. And the reason we do that is because WD-40, for those of you that don't really know this history, WD stands for water dispersing. The -40 was because when they originally made it, they tried making the stuff 40 different times before they got it correct. Now the reason I like WD-40 is because if there's ever any moisture in this room or in the mineral spirits or brake clean or anything else, as soon as we spray the WD-40 in there, you're eliminating the chance for any rust. So that's why we use a WD-40, go through that stuff cases by the year, but it does us exactly what it's supposed to do for storage, lubrication, making sure we don't get rust. So Adrian, I've been here for, I'm gonna say 2 or 3 minutes, and you've got, looks like 6 of them done, 5 done?
Did 5 of them, 6 ones about to pop out.
Number 6, okay.
Correct.
So you're getting one done like every 30 to 40 seconds.
Correct.
Now that seems like the greatest way on the planet to just make tons and tons and tons of money.
Yes, it does.
but there's more to it than just this.
A lot, yeah. This is the part that looks fast, seems easy, etc. But there is a lot of programming, a lot of fine tuning, a lot of testing, a lot of trial and error, and a lot of wasted parts to get to this point.
Yeah. So there's parts down here that we turn into keychains once in a while. If you ever want a keychain, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, share it with your friends. Let us know you did all that, and we'll send you a keychain. They're kind of cool. It's just a nozzle that we screwed up. But on the other side of this wall, I want to show you what that is. Cut real quick. Okay guys, so I'm back. But now I'm on the EDM and I'm with Brian. So Brian, what are you burning right now? We don't need to bring up customer name, but what are you making?
I'm making some 5-hole plus 2 pilot hole 12 valve injector and nozzles.
So these things are kind of the ultimate in pain in the ass.
Yes, I'm making 300 of them, and I have to push the go button 600 times on this machine.
Yeah. So we've got 300 nozzles, and right now, what wire are you using?
It is a 0.95 thou.
9.5 thou wire.
9.5 thou wire.
And we measured the hole diameter this morning because as the hole is going, I'll let you keep going. So as that wire is going through there, Brian, it's not the wire that's doing the cutting, it's actually just the water, right?
Correct.
Now, based on the fact that the water has like 100 mega ohm worth of resistance, and the fact that the water is what's actually like burning its way through the nozzle, we have an overburn, right?
Yes.
But since it's water, it doesn't warp the part, it doesn't heat the part up at all. Like they're physically, I don't want to touch it because I'll get shocked, but they're physically cold to the touch. The second you get off, they're dead cold, right? So we're splashing it with water, keeping it nice and cold, burning our way through there, but 9.5 thou ends up with an overburn. What's the hole diameter when we're done?
I want to think it's about 11.
I got one set up.
This
thing's really cool. So basically, I've got one of the nozzles he just EDM'd, grabbed it out of his bucket. And this hole with no AFM looks a little rough, but I just laid a line on it. We're 11.5 thou. So you technically have measured, your 9.5 has 2 thou overburn.
Yep.
And we're sitting at 11.5 thou. This customer also wants you to put 2 pilots in. So the pilots are going to be about 50%, a little bit smaller than 50%, like 40% of that original hole diameter. So they're going to get the advantage of like dual atomization.
Correct.
So for those of you that don't understand this, don't get this, don't know this, what happens is you've got larger holes, primaries, that are going to create like the big end horsepower, path of least resistance. When you stand on the gas pedal and all the fluid wants to leave, it's going to go through the big holes. But when you're at very low injection pressure, the 2 pilot holes that he's got to go through, we're going to have 200 of these done today, 250 of these done today, maybe
300.
300. Well, not today.
No, not today.
Not today, but the orders for 300. But
yeah.
I started on this batch this morning at about 4. I worked until 8. You're going to be on it. What time are you going to leave tonight?
I don't know. I'm going to run through the rest of the 5 holes and set the pilot holes up.
Oh, so you plan on having all 300 done today and then heading out?
Yeah.
All 300 of the 5 holes?
Yeah, 300 of the 5 holes will be done, and then I'm going to set it up for you so it's ready to go in the morning for the pilots.
So what's difficult about that, or what is a pain about that, is we have to touch every one of these nozzles twice. We've got a piece of wire that's going to burn on 9.5 thou. And then tonight, when you're done with all the rest of them, you got the rest of that bin. Is that it?
Yep.
Nice. So there's about 45 left, probably.
Yeah.
So when and it's taken 2 minutes and 50 seconds or so. 2 minutes 51 seconds is what it took to put 5 holes in that nozzle. So he'll get done with this step, this process today, then he'll head out. And then tomorrow I'll come in at 4 again, and he'll have already changed out the wire, the guide, the sleeve, all of it that needs to be changed out. You'll probably make a couple of test holes tonight.
I'll get it pinned.
Check to make sure that they're accessed correctly.
Yep.
And then I'll come in the morning and just start grabbing nozzles and go, 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 go. And those 2 holes being smaller, I'll probably only have about 1 minute per nozzle on the EDM.
Yep.
So I'll knock out a bunch before you get in.
Yeah.
And then you'll probably end up wrapping up. You won't be done by shipping tomorrow, but because then once you're done here, they've got to go to Adrian.
Yep.
And Adrian makes it look fast. Like he's getting, you know, one done every 30 or 40 seconds to where we end up with theoretically probably like a total of about 7 minutes per nozzle dinking around with all of these.
Yeah.
By the time we handle it the first time, because we got to wash the oil out of it, got to get it clean.
Yep.
We EDM it for almost 3 minutes. We store it. We set them aside. We tear apart the EDM. We lose some time on that, and then we go through and we rerun them all, and then we give them to Adrian. He's got another 30, 40 seconds per, plus cleanup, I guess. So he's probably got 7 or 8 minutes per nozzle into him. So when you get an order of 300, it makes it really nice because you're set up to just go, 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 go. When we have, what do you got there for other orders?
That's a set of 6 holes for a 24 valve.
Okay, just 6?
Yep, just an order of 6. 6 nozzles, 6 injectors. An order of 8 injectors for some Duramax. And a set of 325 custom cleans.
Big ones.
Big ones, big injectors.
So the reason why we like these big batches, or like what we did with Adrian, we gave him, he's got at least 60 of them over there. You set up the machine and you just go, 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 go. Same part, very clean. When you do 6 or 8, you end up chancing, and not all the time, but sometimes you ruin the first 1 or 2 parts. So even though we're only supposed to build 6 for that set, we might be 8 nozzles deep, plus
Time.
You're losing time on tear down and setup of the machine. So even though it's only going to take you 30 minutes to EDM those nozzles, you're into them nozzles for probably 60 or 70 minutes for a total of 6.
Oh yeah.
So, and that's, I would say, minimum, but good again. Now, tomorrow, providing we don't get more POs that come in that are just one-offs again, you'll have the rest of that stuff pretty well done. And then, when you're done with that, you're just gonna go to the wall and you're gonna grab whatever bin is empty and whatever we've got plenty of parts for and start stocking for the guys, right?
Correct.
So, let's walk you down there, I'll show you that. So, going to be a good example of things that we're doing here that are possibly a little bit different than everybody else. Like ISB 50 horsepower. Something equal to this would have been like the old 275 RV injector, which is actually 7-hole VCO, but they're about 10,000ths of an inch with little to no K factor whatsoever. They make about 40 horsepower. Well, what we're doing is 6 holes with the 0061 wire, and then we AFM that up to 25 liters of air per minute. So this is considerably smaller in flow rate, but it makes more horsepower than the 7 VCO. Then we go from a 0061 to a 0066, so a half thou larger in wire diameter. We go from 25 liters of air per minute up to 29. That's a 75 horse. And I recently dynoed all of these this year, so I'm very confident that this is actually real. On the next size up, you're still 153 degree, 153 degree, 153 degree, which is exactly what the factory piston diameter is, or piston spray angle is. Still 6/6 wire, but we AFM those from 29 up to 31, and that ends up with our 100 horsepower recipe. We go to the 125s. We got a 0068 wire, so 0.2 of a thou larger in wire diameter. and we AFM that to 33 liters a minute. Now, right there, a lot of people would say, why don't you just AFM them a little bit longer and get them to go from 31 up to 33? Well, the reason for that is because we've discovered that the spray orifice, being about 47 thousandths of an inch long, if you run it too hard on the AFM or the extrude hone, you'll get the overall flow out of it that you're asking, but you start to you shorten that rifle's barrel. So if you've ever shot 20 inches down to 18, down to 16, down to 14, 14 and a half, trajectory isn't near as accurate at a further distance. Well, when we start extrude honing and AFMing too terrible long, we just turn that into like a sawed-off shotgun, and we don't really penetrate into that piston with a lot of punch. So we lose the opportunity to get to all the oxygen, and they get a bit smokier. Next size up, ISB 200s. Those things are 6 by 10, and we AFM those up to 57. So as you can see, just in the ISB line, there's different wire diameter and different AFM recipes for everything that we're doing. Most people don't have this opportunity, and what they're doing is they're using a nozzle that they found that worked pretty good, and they're just shoving more and more extrude hone through it, or they're trying to take a factory nozzle from some other application and they're chasing that with wire, making the holes a little bit bigger. If people brag about having EDM and EDM only, they're missing half of the performance that's left on the table and doubling the smoke output, which we don't really want that either. So truthfully, like all these recipes, whether it's Duramax, Power Stroke, Cummins stuff, all these recipes are something I'm constantly buying trucks, I'm constantly selling trucks, because we not only EDM, we not only AFM, we not only calibrate, but then we test drive them, and we've got a dyno out at the place. So we're dynoing, test driving. Brian, the guy on the EDM, he drives about the most out of everybody here. I think his drives like 53 miles per day. So we went and bought an old beat up 2005 truck. And I've never really loved the way those 2005 trucks run. They kind of knock, ping, and rattle a little bit. I hate that. So we were able to change some things about the nozzle and the way the whole orientation is. So he's been test driving that truck for me. Like I say, he's putting over 100 miles a day on it just to make sure, checking gas mileage and all the other things that come about. And really, it's on a factory tune. We're trying to build injectors that run on factory calibrations, if at all possible. And the reason that I've got him test driving that is because when you guys are driving the stuff and you call me up with some weird thing, I want to be able to say, well, I know for a fact that with this piston, that truck, we drove it this many miles, we didn't have those issues, or yes, we had the issues, we overcame the issues, there's an update available for you, things like that. So, you know, I just wanted to give you a little quick shop tour and show you what those two processes do. So I hope this is some information that you're going to be able to use and make good financial buying decisions for your truck in the future. For now, Lenny Reed, Dynamite Diesel Products, I'm out.